In this lesson, I want to introduce you to our in-browser IDE. It's a space where you can practice what you learned or get a grade for a lab that you just completed. But essentially, we want you to get as much hands-on practice and learning as possible, and that's what the IDE is for. So this is an example of an in-browser IDE lab. There's the title of the lesson and the problem description down here. In this particular case, it's an ungraded problem. So as the description says, practice what you learned in earlier lectures and maybe even find answers to some of the quiz questions. So this is your sandbox playground space. If I click the Launch IDE button, I get to the actual in-browser IDE. So let's click that button. So as you can see, the IDE takes up a fair amount of space. So you can collapse the IDE using the Minimize button on the top right, and then bring it back up with the button right next to it. Let's examine it a little closer. There are multiple tabs and windows in this one little area, so let's go left to right. This tab, labeled Browse Files, is a file explorer where you can browse the files in your workspace directory. These files are given to you to edit for the lab. We can also collapse this window for more space in the IDE. The next section is the File Editor. The editor displays the contents of the files in the workspace directory so you can edit these files for the lab. If you want to edit a file in the workspace directory, you can click on that Files tab in the editor or by selecting the file name from the File Explorer. You can edit these files as you like, and the changes will stay here unless you reset the workspace, which you can do by clicking this button at the bottom. So let's say I add a new point to this file. I can refresh the page and this update will still be here. But once I hit Reset Workspace, it'll ask me if I'm sure. I click OK, and now the change that I made is gone. So the workspace was completely reset to what it was originally configured with. The files in this editor usually have some code in them, whether it's a MongoDB configuration file, a JSON snippet, or something else. The next section of the in-browser IDE is the terminal window. This is where you would issue any shell commands required for the exercise. For example, I can check what version of MongoDB is installed. And it looks like we have MongoDB version 4.0. You can also collapse the terminal window if you want more space in the file editor. If this is a graded assignment, then there will be some test cases you need to run against your solution. To run these tests, you can hit the Run Test button on the bottom right. Running the test will open up a new tab called Test Results. This tab will show you how many tests were run, how many tests were passed, and how many tests were skipped. This assignment is not graded, so we just added an example test here that always passes. If this is a graded assignment, you would get feedback on your solution. I can also collapse this tab for more space. Make sure when you get to an in-browser IDE lab to check whether or not the assignment is graded. I hope you enjoy learning with us, and good luck.